Hello everyone, this is Mrs. Campbell again. Today we're going to be looking at Fast Focus composition number 56, how to decode the weather. And as usual, the best way to be prepared for what you're about to read is to focus your attention on what the questions are going to ask afterwards. So let's go over and take a look at the questions. Let's look at question number 1. The reader can tell that people frequently don't believe that weather forecasts because... I notice that they're asking us about what the reader can tell. That means that they're not going to tell us straight out, this is the reason why people don't believe it. They're going to leave us clues peppered throughout the entire passage, so you may have to look in a couple of different places in order to find the answer to this one. Let's look at question number 2. Read the sentence from paragraph 5. If the average July high temperature in Andrews, Texas, has been very close to 93 degrees Fahrenheit for some number of years, scientists have some useful data. Based on this statement, it is reasonable to assume that what? You're going to have to go and figure out what they're talking about in paragraph 5 when you read this sentence. So if I were you, I would go over to paragraph 5, I would find that sentence and I would highlight it, and then when you get there, I want you to think about what is being said around that sentence that would make it reasonable to assume or to guess something. Okay, here we are in paragraph 5. Let's find our sentence. If the average, it's right off the bat. If the average July high temperature in Andrews, Texas has been very close to 93 degrees for some years, scientists have some useful data. So read the sentences before this and the sentences after this in the same section of text. You notice that the text is broken down into subheadings. So make sure you read everything in that subheading that paragraph 5 is in to help you understand what it would be logical to assume based on that data. Now let's look at question number 3. Computer models help meteorologists by keeping track of what? When you hear about what computer models help meteorologists do, what they keep track of, you need to highlight that, underline it, put a star next to it, and remember that information when you get to this question. Now let's look at question number 4. The details from the section titled Not Your Average Scientists and Probability show the reader that, well, the first thing I notice is it's not talking about the entire passage. It's only talking about these two sections. The section called Not Your Average Scientists and the section called Probability. You're going to have to put the information that you gather from both of these sections, and you're going to have to look at the details from those sections. And you're going to have to decide what it shows the reader. This is another one of those logical guess questions, guys. They want you to put all that information together and then make a logical conclusion. Here we are with the section Not Your Average Scientists and the section Probability. You're going to have to read and decide what information you learn about in Not Your Average Scientists and what information you learn about in Probability, and put all of that information together in order to come up with a logical answer for what those sections tell us. Question number 5. According to the article, having precise measurements of past weather conditions allows meteorologists to do what? You're going to have to listen for when they talk about having precise measurements of past weather conditions. Past weather conditions. When you hear about that, you need to pay attention to what it allows meteorologists to do. Question number 6. According to the information in the concluding paragraph, changing climate is another what? I notice that it's asking me about the concluding paragraph. Guys, that's the very last paragraph in the passage. So you're going to go over there and you're going to see where it talks about changing climate and what it is another one of. So let's go over there and look at the concluding paragraph and see if we can find something about changing climate. Here we are in our concluding paragraph called Difficult Work, and we're looking for information about changing climate. So you're going to have to read paragraph 7 very carefully and see what it tells you about changing climate. Let's look at question number 7. The author most likely wrote this article to what? This is an author's purpose. Question. We want to know the reason that the author wrote the article. Was it to encourage readers to become meteorologists, to help meteorologists improve their weather forecasts, to explain how meteorologists use past weather and climate data to create forecasts, or to teach students about mathematical averages and probabilities? Why did the author write this? Think about the information you learned in this passage and let it help you determine why the author included that information. Let's look at question number 8. Which of the following statements from the selection is an example of exaggeration the author uses to make a point? Guys, this is our hyperbole. Remember, it looks like hyperbole, but it's hyperbole. And it's an extreme exaggeration in order to make a point. Like me saying, I've told you 1,000 times to do something. I haven't really said it 1,000 times. I'm just trying to make a point. So read through and see which of those is a little over the top. Which one is an exaggeration that the author uses to make the point? All right, that's your 8 questions. Good luck. Go back, read the passage very carefully. Make sure you stop and listen for all of this information we've talked about, and then come back and carefully read your questions and answer choices again. Good luck, guys.